welcome back. I'm Deziel and today I'm showing you a little bit of sewing. We'll assemble my new ski mask pattern. You'll see it's pretty simple even if this one has 3 pattern pieces. Now let's look at the 3 pattern piece we have. We have the main piece that is covering the head and the neck. On that piece you see 2 little circles. This way you could adjust the opening. This piece is cut on the fold of the fabric. Then you have the facing to do the finishing of this opening. This facing is also cut on the fold of the fabric. Finally, you have the piece that will cover the nose and the mouth. This piece is also cut on the fold of the fabric. I'm going to start by making the holes with my pattern awl. And this way I'll be able to mark both holes for buttonhole on both sides of my fabric. So the step 1 is to do the buttonhole on both sides. The size of the buttonhole, I would say smallest that you can, not longer than 1 centimeter or 3/8 of an inch. To open the buttonhole, we'll do it in 2 steps just to make sure we don't go too far. Now you're going to assemble with the 4-thread overlock the back seam and the top of the head. So from the neck all the way to the front. Then you take your facing and you're going to do that little seam that is also the top of the head just here. When you're done, you could remove one of the needles. So you have your 3-thread overlock and you're going to do the back neck. So the bottom here of the back, you're going to do the 3-thread overlock on the contour, so the outside of the circle. And you're also going to do the 3-thread overlock on, I'm going to call it the nose piece. You're going to do the overlock 3-thread on the top here. At the plain machine, you're going to assemble the facing to the face opening. So place the facing with the ski mask face to face. The seam is on top of the head. Remember that when you get to the intersection, send the seam allowance in opposite direction. This way you eliminate the thickness. And we're going to assemble all around the face opening with a small seam allowance, maybe the width of your foot. Now, to make your life easier when it's time to turn the facing in the final position, I suggest you do an understitch on the facing with the seam allowance all around the face opening. Now, if you did the little buttonhole because you want to do the adjustment for the face to make it tighter if you want to, you're going to need an elastic. For my example, this is the kids one. I cut my elastic at 29 inches or 75 centimeter. And to do the adjustment, I'm going to share with you what one of my friends showed me. Thanks to Josefa. You just take your elastic, cut it in an angle. So make the corner pretty sharp, then just put it to one hole of the button. Then you might have to cut again to do the second side. Now that you did your two buttons, we're going to place those two adjustment system, one on each side of my ski mask. So first over here, just like that, keep it outside. There you go. So the elastic will remain between the facing and the self of the ski mask. Now I'm going to lift it and attach my elastic, both hands together with a knot, a secure knot. When your knot is done, you're going to turn it, make sure the elastic stays inside, and you're going to do a top stitch from here to there, and same thing on the top part, so make sure you don't grab the elastic on your seam. The next step is going to be to hem the nose and mouth piece. Where you did the overlock, you're going to fold following the notches, and you're going to stitch right on the overlock. Now it's looking like the ski mask. The next step is going to be to sew the bottom part of the nose and mouth covering piece. Place it under the front piece in the final position. So you have the good side with the good side. And to make sure you don't make mistake, I suggest you take the two layer and push seam or fold the seam allowance towards the middle of the two layer. And then go between the two layer, grab the seam allowance. This way you should have the good side of the mask with the wrong side of the nose and mouth covering piece. You're going to sew at the width of the foot. You don't need overlock, just assemble both layers together. Now we're ready to fold the nose and mouth covering piece in the final position, and I'm going to ask you to do a stay stitch to hold the two layers together. Make sure it's tight here at the bottom. Push the inside part inside, make sure it doesn't show outside, and just do your stay stitch, both layers together. Once it's done, you will be able to close those kind of dart that we have. So bring your back over the front and you can sew them together. So now we have 3 layers. And another step for the sewing after, once it's done, you're going to fold the hem and stitch again to hold the hem all together, the 4 layers over here. And we do that for both sides. You have a notch on the back, so you know where to place it or where to start. This is the second stay stitch. And then I have a third stay stitch just to hold the hem in position. So you saw me doing it on one side. When you do turn, you flip the hem of the back. You do it very tight, so you'll have a nice finish. And then you stitch again, stay stitch. And if we look at it, there you go, nice and clean. When both sides are done, you could just overlock with the 4th thread both sides. Now I could turn my balaclava or ski mask on the right side, and we're ready to do the last seam. It is going to be the hem on the back. So I'm simply going to fold it parallel and top stitch right on the overlock. Don't forget at the intersection of the center back seam, send the seam allowance in opposite direction to eliminate the thickness. And yes, you do need back tack at the beginning and at the end. There you go, the ski mask is finished for today, and the pattern will be available right away in my Etsy boutique. For this one, I decided to do 2 sizes, so this is the kids one, and I did another one bigger for adult. The fabric that I use is a knit, but not too stretched. This is like a fleece. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching and come back soon.